All right, so time to review this new X-Men wave for 2023. This wave, I was very excited to get. There was a few characters I really wanted to get off my checklist here, which was Avalanche, and then Multiple Man. I not the exact Multiple Man I wanted to see. A lot of other people were lucky to get a Spiral on Dark Phoenix. But there is some great figures in this set, so I'm gonna go and take these guys out. I got some comparisons to do. Okay, here are the figures outside the box, and they look awesome, all out together. I think that this is just building that X-Men world even more. There's so much to go over here, though, so I'm gonna go and do some comparisons, see how they are, which ones seem like better figures. I'm gonna assume most of them are gonna be the new ones, but maybe Dark Phoenix will probably be the biggest competition, I think. If you guys love Mojo World, you would definitely love this wave because Spiral and Longshot came together in this set. Well, not a set really, but the wave. You know what I mean. There's great figures here though. They are both pinless. They're both figures that were definitely long awaited for. I definitely had a couple of figures from before where they just weren't as good, you know. Obviously, Toy Biz had their shot with Longshot, and that was, it was a good figure for its time, but, we got that updated one that's pinless, definitely a far better figure. And Spiral, man, back then, like, what was it, 2008 or 9? Whenever that Target Red Hulk wave came out, Spiral came out, and she was a great figure, and was definitely a grail. A lot of people went for her. That behind her is actually the Chase version. I had the other regular version as well, but I just figured I'd include just the one here for this video. But Spiral, wow. I'm just gonna go and take her and do a close-up. This figure is just astonishing. This is a very nice looking figure. She has a very beautiful head sculpt. You see those eyes are nice and whited out. The metal on her is a little bit more metallic looking, not necessarily like crazy too much, but it's more than the other one. The other one was much more bland. You could see there was definitely an update there as far as the shininess goes, right? The weapons are kind of basic. You do get 4 of the katanas, which we've seen before, and then we get this axe that we saw with that, I think it was Angela or something. It was that character that was in Spawn that ended up being a Marvel character and was in that Guardians of the Galaxy wave. I believe that's where this came from. And then you do get this, I think, unique sword. I'm pretty sure this sword is the first time we've seen this one. And it's got a alright gold look to it. I mean, they're not too bad. I'm not crazy about the gold weapons, but I mean, that is what it is. I mean, it's much better than what this was. I mean, it's so bland here, and that's why I wanted to use this version, because that's kind of the similar color tone they were going for. Now, unfortunately, with the new one, you can't pull the helmet off. The old one, you could, but it's not like it was giving you a good head sculpt anyway. You'd always want to probably have that on, and there was no paint on the variant for that helmet. So this Spiral is just amazing. You get some great articulation. It's pinless. You got these furry boots. Pretty good. Then you got a nice sculpt in that hair. Nice reflection on the helmet here. Definitely a great figure, and very surprised that it wasn't made as like a deluxe. And it really makes it look like you're overpaying for the other figures, though, because she just comes with so much. And the fact that she's sold for $24.99, and then you see like other characters with just only one head and maybe alternate hands, like Avalanche only comes with alternate hands, which I think is ridiculous. It makes you wonder what's going on. And I'm trying to get her to stand while she knocks everyone else down. This one is pretty much the exact same sculpt as that PulseCon exclusive, except you get some yellow paint here, and you get his powered up eye, which it's a difference. You look at, I'm just taking Spiral out, she keeps falling, but you get Longshot here, and he's got, you see that he's got his normal eye and it kind of gives a different look to the figure, even though it is the same sculpt. It's just different paint, and then you get yellow instead of white. And then you have the ammo belt, which the color tone is pretty much the same, but I think there's just a very minor difference. I don't know, you can't really tell. I took that off of this new long shot though and gave him the, the satchel bag that he has here. I think this came from Claire Temple, sorry, that Netflix Luke Cage 2-pack. I believe that's the same sculpt, but it's just painted brown and to match. And it gives you an alternate look. You get really two different kinds of versions of long shot here. And I just only wish that he came with an alternate head, like a screaming face, something like that, because, Hasbro did say they do make alternate heads and they try to decide which ones to use. Kind of sucks that they didn't include an alternate head or use the alternate head, but, it is what it is. The figure does come with the same accessories as that other PulseCon exclusive as far as weapon and hands go. Moving on to Avalanche and Multiple Man. Now, this is where it kind of goes downhill a little bit for this wave. That Avalanche and Multiple Man are basically still having the pins. They're not pinless figures, which is so unfortunate because, you think that with Avalanche being new to the Marvel Legends line, like really new, not like counting Toy Biz and such, or whatever offline X-Men Classics line. I think that's where Avalanche came from, and it was not even really like a good version. But this Avalanche, you got that nice classic suit, right? I mean, it's got an alright like silver finish to it. I think it could have been done better, but it's just, when you get to the arms and legs, it's just like, you have the pieces, why don't you just make him pinless? I mean, this is your first shot at Avalanche. Why even not like make a perfect version, make him pinless? But regardless of that though, you still don't get an alternate head sculpt or anything like that. You get alternate hands, you get some open hands, but he's just a figure, I think, that really deserved to have gotten a screaming face, especially when the side of his box shows him screaming. Avalanche isn't always going to be in a stoic position. He causes avalanches. He's probably going to be screaming during those poses, not being such, chill about it. But, I mean, it still looks like a nice figure. It is a good placement for what you got. I mean, it is a figure people really wanted to see get made. I mean, at least for me. I think that the figure should have just been pinless. The boots are pretty nice. They got some, it looks like really like some boot material here. It's, it's trying to find the right word here, but it's, it looks like cloth. It's pretty interesting. It seems like snow boots. That's where I'm trying to go with, like, kind of like how Captain Cold would have his. But I do like how the figure is, at least for its design, as in what kind of style they wanted to go with. I just think he should have just gotten that full upgrade. Now, Multiple Man, same thing, it's just, don't we have pieces for this already yet? Like, we got that Vulcan body. I don't know why they just didn't upgrade it. I don't know if it's because they had to reuse the torso here. That's what they wanted to do, and just wasn't going to match up well, I'm guessing. But, it's pretty meh, especially for a character that could be potentially like an army builder. You could see I clearly jumped the gun on that. But, I think that should have been a pinless. I think that was kind of a given for this figure. But I know they put more money into other figures like Spiral for this wave. So it's all right. Now you get some other head sculpts. You have the Stoic and then you have the Screaming. And that's the only two. I wish there was a third head sculpt. And there goes one Multiple Man. That's okay. That was just a copy anyway. But you have, where he's just showing his teeth. And I really wish that there was like some screaming face, because it just seems like he should have some third alternate head. especially for a person who can multiply. Now, I also used the X Factor multiple man head, the unmasked version, because the other two obviously wouldn't work for this. But this one popped on pretty well. His skin tone's a little bit more tanned. This one's a little bit more pale, and they use more of the photoreal tech on the new multiple man. The old one, it's just traditional painted. But it still looks nice. You still get that, multiple man effect here. If you wanted to have an unmasked version, you could definitely do that. Definitely think this figure should have had a third screaming head, though. That would have been really cool. Or even like a beat up one, like where he's got like bruises and stuff. Like, I think that would have been awesome, So here's Avalanche next to the Brotherhood of Mutants. Evil mutants, if you wanted to say that. But yeah, that's a very nice look with them all together. I definitely am excited to have that team like really completed, unless you want to like get that green monster dude that never became a character in the show and was just a fill-in, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But I also threw in a jacket for multiple man here. This was actually from the Gambit way back in the Toy Biz days, and this is so old it's like breaking apart. I think I might actually just paint the fabric brown and peel off all this junk here. Before I really liked it, but that started peeling off. But that's okay. But it fits on very nicely for this figure. Definitely a good look on multiple man here. Okay, last but certainly not least is the Dark Phoenix and Wolverine in this X-Men classic costume, right? So these figures are both pinless. They're both great upgrades. They're both leading into, some great body types that we can be using in the future. So obviously we have been seeing the Phoenix one, and I think the X-Men one is new, so I will go over Wolverine really quick. This one, definitely a nice pinless figure, and these belts don't drop down. That was such an annoying thing when Hasbro was doing that, so I'm glad those are gone. Now, the thing that sucks about this figure for me is the claws. I just really think we should have gotten better ones. They just look so, harmless. You want to say that. I mean, obviously we've seen these forever, but we've seen some good ones too. We know Hasbro could do it. They just don't for some reason. I just, at least make them more metallic, shiny, I think that's what these, things need. They've done it before with that X-Force San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I believe. And it's pretty all right. Now, the head sculpts looks really interesting. It seems like they use that photoreal. Sorry, I gotta get in focus here. It looks like he's got some wind blowing in. His hair's blowing a little bit in the front. Definitely a nice look there. And, seems like it. You can see that ball joint in the back here, so it kind of is exposed. You do see some back of that neck here. This actually looks pretty bad. It's very flat, which I don't necessarily mind, but you need to have some hair drop down and cover this up. That's just kind of a little ridiculous looking. So unless you probably lift it up, push it back, and it's kind of always looking up, I guess it wouldn't be an issue. And let's just go and throw on his alternate head sculpt here. And let's see. Anna, get in there. He's actually kind of tough. Oh boy. Oh, there we go. These, I swear, I was noticing this with multiple man as well, is that those ball joints are really hard to get those heads in now. It seems like they're much more thicker. You do get this one. Hair kind of goes the same exact way. I actually think the hair is the exact same. I think they just pasted this on top of the, the teeth showing head. That's all that seems like. And you got a nice belt here. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and he's got those butterfly joints, so you can get some good posing with this Wolverine. Now, Dark Phoenix. This one, oh man, did a lot of people miss out on her the first time. Now, if you remember, she was a Toys R Us exclusive. Sorry, they've been out of business for so long, you forget what it's called. But yeah, she's a nice updated figure. And she's got a nice head sculpt, and she's very different, though, compared to the original Dark Phoenix. Now, I do have her right here. Oops. But, you know, when you look at them, they really do go on different kind of styles of the paint here. The hair, this head sculpt is the exact same one. They just kind of updated the paint on it. This kind of has a little bit more translucent to it, and it's got orange here. This is just like a very nice red with some highlights in there. So up close, you could see the eyes are powered up. The old one had more yellow in there, more fiery look to it, and red eyebrows. This one's more darker, and it kind of looks more white, and the lips are more red. This one was a dark red, matching this kind of color here. The new one is obviously pinless and double jointed. This one had that single one where you could just do that rotation if you liked. And then she gets a nice bicep cut here. This one you didn't. You know, bottom legs here, pinless, not pinless. And that's pretty interesting, you know. They're very different figures. And I know I'm happy I didn't sell mine when they announced it, because I like both, because they're both so different. The belt, you know, the belt's new. So this one you had it painted on with that Phoenix symbol. This one has a sculpt, and it looks pretty nice. It fits very well, I think, with this figure. So there's differences. The flame effect is the same. I wouldn't imagine that they would change it. Mine might be a little dusty, so I apologize. I didn't clean this off so well. But you know, there's, I think, a different type of flame effect, like how they wanted to put it. You know, they made it more red on the top, and then, you know, oranged it out at the bottom, where this one, it looks like almost the reverse, kind of. It looks like the red kind of goes in the back half here, and the orange kind of goes from the front. So that's pretty interesting, unless if I lost color over time and just don't notice. So, but, you know, it is nice that they threw that in. You know, you got some alternate head sculpts, though, you know. So from the Dark Phoenix, this was the original Dark Phoenix, so I'm trying not to have any confusion here, but these ones were from that Dark Phoenix, and I'm sure you could easily just pop those off. We'll go and do that right now. Come on. There we go. And then let's go and just throw in this other Dark Phoenix here. And yeah, that looks very nice. It actually kind of works very well. There's the skin tone matches. It's her in a little more calmer phase, a little darker hair, but you know, it doesn't look too bad, actually. You know, I don't mind it. Definitely an interesting look. If you wanted to do, you know, something different, get use out of those other heads. If you didn't want to just be stuck with that one, you know, you want to put another one on here. So, you know, if you got both figures, you can definitely do the changes here. That is it with my review here of these figures. I think Dark Phoenix here was the best figure in this wave setup. Even though she's a re-release, I think it is just a nice looking figure. It pops up. Spiral is just, yeah, is a fantastic figure. I think that is a great upgrade as well. Multiple Man, for me, that's kind of like a personal enjoyment, you know, to army build. I loved that concept, so I think he's a great figure to get. You know, Avalanche, I think, was also a personal one I really wanted, but I don't think he was as great as he could have been. I just think Hasbro should have done more. Maybe if they throw in an Avalanche in the VHS line, that's where we could see another second chance at it. But I feel like they're not going to upgrade him to being pinless. So that's kind of like never going to fix this issue, I feel. The Wolverine, you know, it's a Wolverine. And I do like the costume. I think it could have been better. You know, especially after all these years with all these upgrades, I think the claws could have just been an easy upgrade. And Longshot, you know, was a decent figure. You know, even though he was already released, I do like that he has like a different kind of powered up version with the yellow. So overall, guys, I did enjoy this set, and hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys for watching. Until then, I will see you all next time.